Ever wish you had like a roadmap to navigate those tricky Lockheed Martin interviews?
Yeah.
Well, today we're your guides. We're doing a deep dive into two how to become YouTube videos.
Okay.
And they're packed with advice on standing out and acing those interviews.
Okay.
So we're going to unpack the most impactful tips
Okay.
so you can walk in feeling confident and
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah. And you know what's really interesting about these videos is how much they emphasize storytelling.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not enough to just list your skills. They want you to like bring them to life.
That's like show, don't tell. Right.
Exactly. But why do you think that is? Why does Lockheed Martin, of all companies, put such a premium on storytelling?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Lockheed Martin is all about innovation, right?
Good. Good.
Tackling those complex projects, working on a massive scale.
Right.
Think about building a fighter jet or designing a new satellite system.
That's a lot.
It requires incredible teamwork, problem solving, and the ability to communicate complex ideas. For sure.
So when they ask you to tell a story about your experience, they're looking for evidence that you can not only handle that environment, but really thrive in it.
So it's less about reciting your resume and more about demonstrating how you've actually used your skills to overcome challenges and achieve results?
Exactly. So, like, instead of simply saying, I'm a great communicator,
Right.
tell them about a time you had to explain a technical concept to a non-technical audience,
Okay.
how you approached it,
Yeah.
and then what the outcome was.
Gotcha.
Give them concrete examples of your skills in action.
That makes a lot of sense. And it seems like this idea of aligning yourself with Lockheed Martin's values and mission kind of goes hand in hand with that.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just say, I'm passionate about aerospace or I admire your work.
Right.
They want to see that you understand what Lockheed Martin stands for,
Right.
the values that drive their mission,
Okay.
and how your own aspirations fit into that bigger picture.
So how do you recommend candidates convey that kind of alignment during an interview? What specific values or projects stood out to you in the videos?
Well, one that immediately comes to mind is their focus on national security.
Right.
Lockheed Martin plays a critical role in global security.
Right.
And they want to know that you understand the weight of that responsibility. It's not just about building weapons systems. It's about developing technologies that help protect lives and preserve freedom.
So it sounds like they're looking for people who are driven by something bigger than themselves,
Yes,
who find genuine purpose in their work.
precisely. And another key value is a commitment to innovation. Lockheed Martin is constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible,
Right.
whether it's developing hypersonic aircraft or advancing laser technology. To impress them, you need to demonstrate a passion for exploring new frontiers
Okay.
and a hunger for solving the toughest technological challenges.
So we've talked about the importance of storytelling and aligning yourself with Lockheed Martin's values. Now, these How to Become videos follow a very specific formula. They present a common interview question, they break down a top-scoring answer,
Right.
and then they offer some key takeaways. What are your thoughts on that approach to interview prep? Is it effective?
It's an interesting strategy,
Yeah.
and I can see how it would be helpful for some people, especially those who, feel nervous
Right.
or overwhelmed by the interview process. Having a structured approach
Yeah.
can provide a sense of confidence and help you organize your thoughts. However, there's a fine line between strategic preparation and coming across as inauthentic.
Right. Like you're just regurgitating a script
Exactly.
instead of having like a genuine conversation.
And that's the danger of relying too heavily on these like pre-prepared answers. You might nail the delivery, but like if you haven't internalized the message, if you don't truly believe what you're saying, it will show.
So it's not about memorizing canned responses. It's about understanding the underlying principles and then finding your own way to express them.
Precisely. Think of these formulas as frameworks, not finished products.
Okay.
They can provide valuable guidance on how to structure your answers,
Okay.
but ultimately you need to make them your own.
And that's where the real preparation comes in, right? It's about doing the work to understand your own experiences, connect them to the company's values, and articulate them in a way that feels both genuine and compelling.
Absolutely. And, beyond the storytelling and value alignment, these videos also highlight the importance of soft skills, which I thought was interesting.
Right, because we often think of a company like Lockheed Martin as being all about technical expertise.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
But as we were saying earlier, building those complex systems, managing those massive projects, it requires incredible teamwork communication and the ability to navigate challenging interpersonal dynamics.
exactly. And that's why Lockheed Martin puts so much emphasis on assessing those soft skills in their interviews. They
Yeah.
want people who can communicate effectively, collaborate seamlessly, and handle pressure without losing their cool. Which brings us to those example questions in the second video, designed to really put you to the test.
Yeah, those are interesting, like that one about disagreeing with a management.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a potential landmine.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
And it's designed to see how you handle conflict, how you advocate for your ideas, and how you prioritize the team's success over your own ego.
So how do you suggest approaching a question like that? Do you just try to dodge it altogether or pretend you've never had a disagreement with a superior?
Definitely not. Disagreements are like a natural part of any workplace, especially in a high-stakes, fast-paced environment like Lockheed Martin.
Right.
Trying to avoid the question entirely just makes you look inexperienced
Right.
or worse, dishonest.
So you have to lean into the discomfort a little.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
I think the key is to frame the disagreement constructively.
Okay.
Focus on the issue, not the person. Explain your perspective clearly and respectfully, and be sure to highlight how your goal was to find the best solution for the team or the project.
So instead of saying, my boss was clueless and I knew I had the right approach, you might say.
Exactly. You could say something like, I had a different perspective on how to approach the project based on my experience with similar initiatives in the past.
Okay.
I respectfully shared my concerns with my manager, presented data to support my viewpoint, and we had a productive conversation to explore both sides of the issue. Ultimately, we reached a decision that we both felt good about.
That's a much better approach.
Right.
You're not bad-mouthing anyone, and you're demonstrating your ability to communicate effectively, advocate for your ideas, and ultimately prioritize the team's success over your ego.
Exactly. And that's what Lockheed Martin is looking for. Individuals who can contribute to a culture of open communication, constructive criticism, and continuous improvement.
It sounds like finding that balance between really showcasing your skills and being authentic is key. And that actually brings up something I was kind of pondering as we were going through these videos.
Yeah.
At what point does all this preparation, all this focus on saying the right thing start to backfire? You know?
That's such a crucial point
Yeah.
because there's a real risk of, over-preparing,
Right.
of becoming so focused on fitting into a mold
Right.
that you lose sight of your own unique strengths and personality.
Right. You end up sounding like a robot instead of a human being.
Exactly.
And I imagine Lockheed Martin, with its emphasis on innovation and creative problem solving, they don't want robots, right?
Exactly. They want people who can think for themselves, bring fresh perspectives to the table, and challenge the status quo. Authenticity is just as important as competence.
So how do you find that sweet spot? How do you prepare effectively without losing your authentic self in the process?
I think it comes down to internalizing the advice, not just memorizing it.
Okay.
Understand the why behind the recommendations,
Right.
and then find ways to connect those insights back to your own experiences and values.
So it's less about trying to become someone you're not and more about showcasing the best version of yourself. The version that aligns with Lockheed Martin's mission while still being true to who you are at your core.
Exactly. Think of it this way. You're an artist,
Okay.
and Lockheed Martin is providing you with a canvas and some, really high-quality paints.
Okay.
It's up to you to use those tools to create a masterpiece that reflects your unique vision and talent.
I love that analogy. So it's about using the insights and the advice you've gathered to paint this compelling picture of yourself, one that highlights your skills, your passions, and your potential to thrive in that Lockheed Martin environment.
Precisely.
Awesome.
So as you prepare for your own Lockheed Martin interview, remember that preparation is essential, but authenticity is king.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. How will you showcase your unique brilliance in your Lockheed Martin interview? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.